Hello everyone and welcome. This is Christine with Patter Crafts and this is another using what's in my stash card. Today I'm using the Llama Tell You stamp set from Lawn Fawn. I've also pulled out two pieces of pattern paper from a little bin of scraps. That bin of scraps I tend to trim paper down to sizes that I would use in card making. So they're already set for me. So these have already been cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I have trimmed out some white cardstock out of with an oval die to stamp my image in, and I also used a slightly larger oval die to trim some black cardstock for a mat. I am going to be coloring with Copic markers today, so I'm using one of my favorite Copic friendly inks. This is the Gina K Black Amalgam ink. I do like to give my ink a minute or two to dry, just because sometimes I find that I'll get like a little smear or smudge or whatever you want to refer to it if I don't just kind of set it aside for a minute or two. And not just for this ink, this seems to be with most ink. I think maybe I'm just heavy-handed with my ink, or maybe it just doesn't absorb into my paper as fast. Whatever the case, that's what I like to do. So I've trimmed down a piece of 8 1/2 by 11 100-pound cardstock to make two top folding card bases. So these are A2 size cards. I'm trimming at 5 1/2 and just using my bone folder to go ahead and make a nice crisp edge there on the top of that card. So I have basically kind of already decided what my card's going to look like. So I have all the pieces ready to go. So right now we're going to do some Copic coloring. This first little llama, I just got to coloring and didn't think to stop the camera so I could zoom in. But the coloring's not really long for either one of these images, so I left all the coloring in today. So unfortunately you'll see it from this further back view for this first one. But on the second one, I do remember to stop the camera, zoom in, so you can just have a better look. So for my llamas, they're basically going to be colored exactly the same except for the blanket on their back. I'm using the W markers for the fur, if that's what llamas have. I'm using W4, W2, and W0. So I'm first going around the areas I think I want to be the darkest with the W4. Then I'm going to bring in my W2 marker and just extend that out a little bit further. And then I'm going to come in with the W0 and just blend that all out and color in all that white area. On his face or her face, I am using the E93 marker to give just a little bit of pink to the cheeks, and then using the E00. For the first llama, I used a dark purple and a light purple. For the blanket on this one, I used a dark blue and a light blue. I'm using a neutral gray, which is N1 for the ground, and I used a cool gray, which was C7 for the feet. So now that those are all set, we are going to go ahead and glue them onto the mat. I am using some liquid glue for this part. It is the Tombow Mono Multi Glue. We'll go ahead and do that with the second one as well. I generally use my tape runner for all of my adhering. I'm starting to kind of like the liquid glue, but I'm not 100% there yet. I use the liquid glue there only because my ATG was out of tape and I had to like go and replace it, which I did do because I didn't want to use liquid glue to put down these panels. One reason was the second piece of paper, so the one with the stripes, is really, really thin. I think it's just like copy paper with a design. And you'll see me struggle with putting some ribbon on it right about now because it's so thin, it doesn't want to stay on. I had a hard time getting the ribbon to stay in place. But we did it. And so we are going to go ahead and adhere the ribbon to the back and add this to our card panel. So for the little llama, I am putting that a little bit more to the left and a little bit up because I did stamp out the Llama Tell You part of the sentiment in this stamp set. It says, Llama tell you how much I like you. So I have the Llama tell you on the front, and then I'll have how much I like you on the inside. So I did a similar oval on white and then matted with black on the sentiment for both cards. I'm bringing in the Spectrum Noir glitter brush, of course, to add some glitter because I find a reason to use this on every card. And then we are going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment on the inside. Now I do add some Nuvo drops to the card, and I start to get them all prepared when I was like, wait, hold on, I gotta stamp the inside of the card with the sentiment, because if not, I'm gonna flip the top over, I'll hit the Nuvo drops, and then they'll look messy. So sometimes I forget to do that, but not today. So on the inside, it just says how much I like you. I thought about putting the heart stamp on the inside too, like 3 of them, but then I figured if I use this for a friend, I really don't want hearts in it. That might be awkward. So depending on which friend that is. So I decided not to do that. I can always add to it later. So for my Nuvo drops, I added, the pink is Sherbet Shimmer and the blue is Blue Lagoon. So thank you so very much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, hit that subscribe button. But until next time, everyone, bye!